Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good morning, pupils. How are you doing? I hope you are enjoying your break. How has been our lesson so far? I hope you are getting it. Please, if you have any question, you are free to ask me through our WhatsApp channel. Today, inshallah, we are going to move to another segment of our discussion. Having known what is networking, what are the kinds of topology we have, what are the networking devices, what are IP address, what is the difference between IP address and MAC address. I hope you all view the IP address of your phone. For that of system, I know why I did not ask you to get the IP address of your system, because most of you don't have or don't have access to computer at home. So today we are going to move to another segment, which is going to be transmission medium. For two computers to communicate with one another, or for we to be able to connect one networking device to the computer or to another, we need what we call the transmission medium. So, and that is what we're going to discuss today, inshallah. So, we are going to now view the objectives for today. The objectives are, number one is that we are going to define transmission medium. And number two, list the types of transmission medium. And number three, we are now going to define networking cables. Number four, we are going to list the types of networking cable. So, I believe with this picture, you're going to have something in your mind about what networking cables are. So now, let's dive into the course. What are transmission, or what is a transmission medium? What is a transmission media, or what is a transmission medium? I don't know, but let's relax, and we're going to know it as we continue. A transmission medium, and according to this picture, we can see two persons talking with one another, right? We can see Mr. A conversing with Mr. B, and through a thin cable here, which is used to send an information from the sender to the receiver. As you can see, this person is talking while the other person is listening. This cannot happen without what we call the medium, of which the signal will flow from the sender to the receiver. So if you are in a far place now, let's say this is not something we can see, the both persons cannot see one another and they want to converse with one another, they need what we call the networking medium. I know you'll be telling me that why is it that you can call somebody on the phone without a wire connecting it? So at the end of today, you're going to know how it's possible. So networking medium is anything that can carry information from the source, that is the sender, to the destination, which is the receiver. It can carry information from the source, that is the sender of the voice, to the receiver, that is to the destination. So now, what are the types of networking medium? The types of networking medium, there are two types. Number one is the wireless and the wired. The wireless and the wired. So these are the two types of networking medium we have. On the first picture I displayed, it shows the wired kind of networking medium. So as we proceed, this is the wired type of networking medium. Have we seen it? The wired, because it has a cable. And the other one, you always see this kind of signal, this kind of logo or icon. It shows that it has what to call wireless. So anytime you are transmitting an information from somebody without using a cable, it means it is wireless. But whenever you are using a wire as a medium of the transmission of information, it is a wired kind of transmission medium. Now let's move to the types of what are networking cables. So now we are not going to focus our mind on the wireless connection. Our phones, our mobile phones, has what we call the wireless type of connection, because we can speak with one person to the other through the wireless connection. But before the wireless came into place, the networking device in most of the companies or that has telecommunication companies, they are wired. They can now give access to others through the wireless devices. That's why we can be able to call our friends through the wireless our wireless device. So now, what are networking cables? Networking cables can be defined as a wire that is used to connect one network device to another network device. These are wires that we can use to connect one network device to another network device. For what? For the purpose of sharing information and resources. So we use this kind of wire to connect one networking device to other networking devices for the purpose of sharing information and resources. So now, the types of networking cables. The types of cables we use for networking. Number one, we have the coaxial cable. Coaxial cable. Coaxial cable. The second one is the twisted pair cable. Twisted pair cable. And the third one is fiber optics cable. Fiber optics cable, or we can call it optical fiber. Optical fiber. So now I'm going to now show you the image of these types of networking cable. The first is coaxial cable, which looks like this. I know you've all seen this type of cable before. I will explain the kind of cable that we use to connect our DSTV to our television. The kind of cable we use to connect our antenna to our television. So for those of us that have GoTV in our house, we use this kind of cable as antenna. And for those of us that have DSTV, we use this kind of cable. So for those of you that have either StarTime, GoTV, we use this type of cable for our antenna. And this on that image of it, I know with this you'll be able to know what it's a coaxial cable. It's a dark thin wire that uses copper. We can see a copper wire here and other wires, braided wire. Then these are insulator and they have their own uses, of which in our next class we are going to talk about why this rubber here are used in the coaxial cable. So the second one is the twisted pair cable. You've always seen this type of cable. They are 8 in number if you separate them, and they are 4 if you don't separate them. They are twisted, that's why they call them twisted pair cable. Twisted and they are in pair. So these are 4 pairs of cable, and if you separate them, they are now 8 of different types of color. So this is an example of a twisted pair cable. And this is it. It is a twisted pair cable they use in creating this network cable. It is a twisted pair cable they use. You see different kinds of different colors of wires in it. So let's take note of this. So we now have the last one, which is fiber optics cable. Fiber optics cable. So this is an optical fiber cable. This is how it looks like. It's the only cable that uses light as the mode of transfer of signal or information. The first two we talked about doesn't use light. They all have a wire inside, but this one doesn't have any wire. It has light. It uses light as a method of transferring of information. And in our next lesson, we are going to talk about why or how what makes it better than other kinds of networking cable. We can see at the top end here, we can see something looks like light. So they use light as a method of transfer of information or signal. Thank you very much.